There are many airlines that span the world. Today I will talk about 10 of them that no longer operate. Ward Air was founded in 1953 by Max Ward. In 1966, it leased its first 727s to enter jet service across the Atlantic to Europe from Canada, with one stopover. Soon enough, it got their hands on 707s to eliminate the stopover. They also later operated the 747 and DC-10. However, as the tourism boom of the 80s happened, they fell out of favor because of their lack of a frequent flyer system and their unorthodox booking system. Pan Am was founded in 1927 for airmail contracts to fly between Key West and Havana, Cuba. Later, it expanded across Latin America, and in 1935, it made the historic moment of the world's first trans-Pacific flight from San Francisco to Manila in the Philippines. In 1939, they introduced the first transatlantic flight from New York to Lisbon in Portugal. After World War II, they heavily expanded with new land planes, introducing the world's first regularly scheduled flight around the world. In 1958, they introduced the first jet made by any American company. For the first time, there could be regularly scheduled flights across the Atlantic twice a day. In the early 1970s, they helped introduce air travel to the masses by introducing the Boeing 747, a plane that could transport in certain configurations up to 450 people. That was also the first wide body, which revolutionized aviation. However, after the 1973 oil crisis and the 1978 Airline Deregulation Act, Pan Am was no longer as profitable. In 1991, they ultimately were merged into Delta. TWA was founded in 1930 to become a more capable U.S. air service when Transcontinental and Western Air merged, creating the name TWA. Though later Western Air left the merger, they kept the TWA name. They flew many flights domestically within the U.S., and after World War II expanded, being alongside Pan Am, one of the only two U.S. airlines to Europe. During the 1950s, they flew many aircraft, especially the L-1049 Constellation. Though during the 60s, they introduced the Boeing 707 and the 747 and L-1011 TriStar. However, the 1973 oil crisis hit them hard because they bought many 747s to be competitive with Pan Am. However, in the 80s, they were able to recover, as well as had a good image and was popular with many people. However, during the 90s, they heavily failed, and after TWA Flight 800 crashed, destroying their reputation. In 2001, after being bankrupt for their third and final time, they merged with American Airlines. Braniff International was founded in 1926 as a U.S. airmail contractor in the southwestern United States. In 1959, they took delivery of their first jets, both Boeing 707s and DC-8s, and in the 1970s, they flew the 747. But in 1978, the Airline Deregulation Act made Braniff International gamble and heavily expand, but they were not able to succeed with their expansion. Their airline was also not as popular due to plummeting service values, as well as all flights being either all economy or all first class, as well as competing airlines, mainly American and Delta, increasing their service through Braniff International's hub of Dallas. However, they continued flying until 1982, as well as, though they had a successful crowdfunding campaign in 1982, they went bankrupt, as well as ceased operation. Northwest Airlines was founded in 1926 under the name Northwest Airways. It began carrying passengers in 1927, and in 1928 it introduced its first international flight from Minneapolis, St. Paul to Winnipeg. However, after World War II, it flew mainly international across the Pacific. However, after deregulation and working with several British airlines, they introduced transatlantic services. They also had an alliance with KLM in the Netherlands to help them recover. However, in 2008, they merged with Delta, helping kickstart the era of U.S. airlines mergers. BOAC was founded in 1939 as the transport division of the Royal Air Force. However, after World War II, it expanded a lot around the world. In 1952, it also was the first airline to operate jets, operating the de Havilland Comet. During the 1960s, it introduced jet transatlantic service with the Boeing 707 and Vickers VC-10. In 1971, it even took delivery of the Boeing 747 and was going to take delivery of the Aerospatiale BAC Concorde. But in 1974, it merged with BEA to form British Airways. Canada 3000 was founded in 1988 and was Canada's largest charter airline. It flew to many destinations within Canada, the US, Europe, as well as to Fiji. However, after the downturn of travel in 2001, they ceased all operations without telling travelers or employees. CP Air was founded as a division of Canadian company Canadian Pacific Railway as Canadian Pacific Airlines in 1942. It flew until 1987, as well as the main aircraft it flew include the Douglas DC-8, Boeing 727, Boeing 737, and Boeing 747, until in 1987 it was acquired by Pacific Western Airlines. Canadian Airlines was founded in 1987 by a conglomerate of airlines. Later on in 1989, with the PWA merger, it included CP Air and Ward Air. At some point in the 1990s, it actually flew more flights to Asia than any other Canadian airline and flew to 140 destinations in 17 countries. However, in 2000, it merged with Air Canada after several poor financial reports. Alitalia was formed in 1947 until 2021 was Italy's national airline. However, as early as 2017, it was on life support from the Italian government, and between the early 2000s and 2021, it cost Italian taxpayers 10 billion euros. It could not compete with discount airlines, so in 2021, it made its final flight and was replaced by a new state-owned discount airline called ITA. That concludes our list of 10 airlines that have shut down over the years. Thank you for watching.